Do you enjoy more hardcore Milsim type, slow-paced tactical shooter experience? Are you looking for a game kind of like Tarkov, Arma, or Gray Zone, DayZ, etc.? However, maybe you don't have the time to spend countless hours learning how to play Tarkov or other of these complex Milsim type games. These can sometimes feel like they require several hours to get a hang of the basic core functions, and maybe you don't want to keep up with the grind. Maybe you still want that hardcore, careful, tactical, immersive experience, but with a more laid-back PvE vibe. If this is you, then I'm glad that you watched this video because this game really hits the nail on a lot of those good aspects. And stick around, we'll get into some of the details of why I'm enjoying this game so much and why I'm picking to play this game over a lot of other Milsim type shooters at the current moment. I'm talking about the recently released Stalker 2.
This is a strange place.
I've never played the first Stalker game, so when this game released on Game Pass for PC, I decided to try it out. Especially since I've heard really good things about the first entry. And I'm kind of in that rut again where I'm just looking for something new to play and stumbled across this. And man, oh man, am I loving it. It's scratching every itch that I have for shooters of this type and genre. It's got everything to me that makes an incredible, immersive, hardcore survival experience. It has those quiet, almost serene and beautiful moments, the high-octane action, the heart-racing combat, and also some horror elements to it. There's some jump scares in this game that genuinely terrify me. There's also plenty of looting and techie inventory management, and most importantly, as contrast to several other hardcore or Milsim-esque survival games, it doesn't really feel like a job. I can put this game down and then come back to it at any time and still feel like I'm having the same experience as I had when I left. I don't miss out on a battle pass due to real-world adult things that kind of take up the day, and I don't have to keep up with some ever-changing meta. I don't have to look up several YouTube videos or use third-party services to figure out how to play the game properly. Albeit, there are some videos out there that definitely help kind of guide you through this game, but for the most part, I think the game does a great job of just kind of introducing you to the basics and then just letting you do whatever else you want. It's almost like this game gives you everything you need, and you can just sit back, relax, and get lost in the game. One of my favorite things about video games, and really the main reason why many of us play them, is the escapism it provides you from the everyday troubles. I'm sure many of you can think of some of these games you've played where you just kind of get lost and immersed in the experience and just forget about whatever's going on. Whatever troubles or stress you were experiencing related to the real-life day-to-day seemingly melted away when you booted up that game. You started playing, then all of a sudden it's been several hours and the game has sucked you in completely. I can say this is true for me with games like Skyrim, Red Dead Redemption, and Grand Theft Auto 5, especially when they first released. So far, for me, this is one of those games. Now don't get me wrong, this game has its flaws. Mostly in my experience so far, it was some pretty bad stuttering and performance FPS issues while having a fairly beefy system. However, in great news, the devs very quickly acknowledged these issues and put out a major patch addressing them. You can actually view this on the Steam page of the game if you want to know every single detail of what was patched. And there's some really good stuff in there, so I encourage you to check it out if you're interested, kind of worried about the performance, if this will run good on your system or not. They really do cover a lot in this patch. This, combined with updating just my graphics card driver, seemingly resolved all the stuttering and performance issues that I was having. And let me tell you, in this day of age of all these companies releasing what feels like half-baked products, seemingly taking ages to address bugs and major broken elements of the game, this was a very, very refreshing thing to experience firsthand. It truly does feel like the developers actually like and play this game and want it to be polished rather than it be some sort of quick cash grab like many of our other games we know. That's kind of just like a copy and paste of other titles that already exist, just with minor changes and tweaks. This game is very unique in its style and vibe. So basically how it works, the TLDR of the game is there's a huge zone, if you will, or play area that is closed off from the rest of the surrounding areas in the world space. In this zone, there exist several unknown or very strange anomalies is what they're calling them, and creatures that are extremely hostile and will kill you in an instant. Think of these anomalies as almost Stranger Things like beings or entities. If you've ever watched the TV show Stranger Things, they kind of manipulate the world around them. It's kind of hard to describe, but as you play the game, you will run across, say, a group of leaves moving by themselves in almost a whirlwind pattern. If you walk into them, very weird and usually lethal things will happen to you, and you'll most likely take damage or die, one or the other. Playing this game, these can be really hard to spot sometimes, which causes the player to really play it slow and tactical and kind of watch their step, rather mindlessly walking around from point A to point B. There are invisible monsters or creatures you have to look out for also while you are exploring the world, and several different enemy types. Each of them really kind of have their own unique characteristics and abilities and ways they attack or trap you or interact with you. To add to this, there's also other stalkers and enemy NPCs that will also kill you extremely fast. They have a similar goal as you, to scavenge the world, look for supplies, loot ammo, meds, etc. But most importantly, what stalkers are looking for are these artifacts. Artifacts can be a small glowing stone, or an alien piece of technology, or a weird piece of looking metal. There are sensors or electronic detectors you can use to help find these artifacts in the world, and they'll kind of guide you to them. NPCs in the game will often give you coordinates to artifacts, oftentimes a part of quests and things like that. You can sell them or equip them, and when equipped, they kind of act like a perk almost to your character. They kind of change a few stats about your character, so maybe one artifact will give you more radiation resistance. Maybe another artifact will cause you to do more damage or take less damage. One might also increase your carrying capacity and things like that. You can also pair the artifacts with other artifacts for different kind of effects and boosts. And you can kind of pick and choose based off your playstyle. Certain artifacts might cater and help you play more stealthily, or other artifacts might help you play a little bit more gung-ho. And this kind of leads me to another amazing point about this game that I'm really enjoying. And that is, in terms of your playstyle or whatever it is in the game you are doing from moment to moment, however you enjoy playing the game, you can really just kind of do whatever you want to do and roleplay however you want. There is a main story and questline, however, there are also several other side quests and activities or events in the game that happen. You can easily sink 100 hours into this game and not even make that much progress on the main story. I won't spoil anything, but the game does a really good job of just kind of throwing you into the world, showing you the basics, showing you how to get started and make it on your own. And then you just kind of do whatever you want from there. You want to go on a supply run during the day and come back and deposit all your loot in your stash at night? Go for it. Do you want to explore the world and take in the breathtaking visuals and graphics while killing some monsters and things like that? Do you only want to do the main quest line and get it over with? You can definitely do that. There are also several other options to customize your loadout, your gear, weapons, and upgrade them and things like that. You can barter and exchange goods in settlements and with NPCs in the game that you could just walk up to. There isn't just like one hub or seller or shop in a city that you can go to. You can really barter and trade with really anyone in the game. There's also plenty of lore and notes and backstory that is there for you if you're interested. But, if you're not interested in that stuff, kind of like me, you can kind of just get back to whatever you want to do. There's these little things called PDA devices, which is basically just an electronic tablet that a lot of the stalkers carry. And you can pick that up and kind of just look at the backstory on it. You might get a quest from it, find out secret coordinates to a stash, things like that. And that can kind of just trickle into even more things to do. It's very important, I think, for a big open world game like this to give the player something to do other than chase a golden waypoint marker or go from point A to point B. And I think this game does a really great and fantastic job of doing that while keeping the game still feeling fresh and unexpected and just dynamic. It really feels and shows, and I think comes through, that they really put a lot of effort into making you feel part of this world, and things happen dynamically. You never really truly feel safe at any moment. You never know like what is around the next corner. It could be a stalker or another enemy or an invisible creature or of some sort. You know, you might have other stalkers stalking you. Many open world games can feel very stale and empty with not much to do, and I'm happy to tell you that this really isn't the case with Stalker 2. I'm thoroughly enjoying everything that I come across, from abandoned buildings, bases, dark underground caves, secret passages. All of it does a great job of adding to the player immersion. The voice acting is also very good, and dialogue feels purposeful and doesn't really get in the way or feel like it's just there for no reason. You're not even forced to talk to really anybody in the game if you don't want to. You can literally just be a terrible person and kill everybody you see, or if you really wanted to. So if there's some of you out there that like playing the evil kind of role play, you can definitely do that in this game. A lot of the dialogue choices are really kind of pretty funny also, and have some lighthearted comedic moments to it, which I found pretty entertaining. The weapons feel great and satisfying to use. It's fun customizing your loadout and trying out different attachments and playstyles for your run. There is wear and tear to the weapons, that they will break after prolonged use. However, you can just repair them or sell them or trade them in for another gun. Just pick up another one from another dead stalker. Using your inventory and meds and like health supplies while fighting doesn't really feel cumbersome or janky, as the game gives you 4 quick access slots for anything you want to use them for. You do have to keep your hunger and thirst up in the game, which is actually, I think, implemented really well, and is not annoying like some of these other games. For example, you can think about like the first thing that comes to mind for me is like DayZ, where it just feels like all you're doing is looking for food and water the whole time. I'm definitely not struggling to find these items. A lot of the NPCs and stalkers will have usually some sort of food or something on their kit. You do run into other NPCs and stalkers fairly often because, you know, they're just like you. They're just gearing up for the zone, going out for another supply run, and usually they'll have pretty good loot on them. There are several areas in the zone that are rampant with radiation, so you really need to prepare for these runs and carry the necessary supplies and tools that's going to help you complete whatever it is that you're trying to do. So like maybe you're going for a specific artifact, maybe that artifact is in a specific area that you might need to take some extra supplies, maybe some extra radiation, medication to make it just a little bit easier to get your items. But you know, there's multiple different ways you can complete quests and things like that. It really leaves it up to you. All of this is really exactly what I've been looking for in these types of games. And I can't recommend enough. If you have Game Pass or some extra money to spend, or if you're stuck not knowing really what to play or what to play next, if you want like a challenging experience but yet fun and entertaining and somewhat laid back when you want it to be laid back, give this a try. Oh, and before I forget, there are different difficulties. You can choose to play like easy, medium, and veteran. So this just kind of gives way to add a little bit more replayability to the game. I'm currently playing on the normal or medium difficulty, so I can get a little bit of a feel of the game before I start bumping up the difficulty. But I definitely do have plans to do another playthrough on like veteran once I get a hang of how everything works. So anyways, thanks for watching. If you're having fun playing this game, let me know in the comments below. If you found this video helpful or informative, let me know by hitting that like button. If you want to see more video game reviews or commentary or kind of like first initial player experiences or essay style videos, subscribe to my channel, as I'm going to try to upload a lot more videos and do my best to at least do one video a week about whatever I want to talk about. Take care everyone, and we'll see you in the next one.